Church of Christ, it is an honor and it is a privilege to welcome our siblings from all the other covenant churches in the GVA. Throughout this time together this morning, may the business of our churches rise before God as a form of our worship. I invite you to start this morning with hymn number 11 in the black cover New Century hymnal, Bring Many Names. It's a favorite of this congregation. I invite you to stand in body or spirit as we sing that. come in. Please be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to see everybody here and see all the smiles and catch up with everybody. But now it's time to set to work. And what better way to set to work than to set it in God's hands? Let us pray. Gracious God, living, breathing, Holy One, we come before you as this congregation of congregants, a conflagration of love, to do the work you have given us. Help us in our discernment of this work. Strengthen us for the work yet to be done. Help us to see the vision you have for our denomination, for our congregations, and for our world. In all things, Lord, we look to you, to lean on you, to place things in your hands, and to accept the gifts that you have given us. Allow us in this time to further the work of your hands through us, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's always so nice to see everybody. And even with name tags, we still don't know quite where we're all from. So right now, we're going to have roll call, and when I call your church's name, let us know you're here. However you want to do that. Nicely. Okay. If you're ready, here we go. Okay, Dan, you get to do it. First of all, Bristol. All right. Canandaigua.
Sent their regrets because they had a major funeral this morning.
Okay, I'll put a little note. Okay. Castile. Okay, Chili. Community Christian. Nice chorus of hellos. Churchville, Union Congregation. All right. You're getting it. Fairport First Congregational. Here. Oh, good going, Regard. Mountain Rise. Here. Gaines. Hall. Henrietta UCC. Whoa. Honeoye UCC. And thank you so much for being a host church for us. Beautiful. This is my first time here, and it's just beautiful. Thank you. Irondequoit UCC. Oh, this is great. We're getting music. All right. Lakemont. Lakeville. You're not going to sing? Okay. Morganville, Jim. Okay, nice to see you. Ontario. Parma, Greece. Okay, nice to see you. Perkinsville. Perry Center. Hi, Eric. Rochester, Salem, UCC. Okay, nice to see you guys. Rushville. Patty, nice to have you with us. Savannah. South Livonia, UCC. Excellent. Spencerport, First Congregational. Warsaw, UCC. Okay. Webster, UCC. There. Yeah. Nice, Joy. Wellsville.
Here, and we have a new settled part-time pastor, Reverend Alex Wright.
Thank you for that. That's great. I'll talk to you afterwards. Be sure and see me. And last but not least, West Bloomfield.
Definitely here.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. And that's it.
Good morning. I am thrilled to see such a conflagration on this beautiful, beautiful day, and I echo Carol's thanks to Kenneth and Mike and all of the members of Honeoye Church for your welcome here. This is the first Genesee Valley Association meeting that I get to be with you as your co-moderators. Susan and I are delighted by that. And my very limited job today, besides keeping us on track, and I'm failing miserably, is to ask if there are any adjustments or corrections to the agenda, which is on the back of the pretty packet that you picked up. Back of the first page. Our purpose this morning is largely to hear reports from your Genesee Valley Association officers, to receive the budget, and then we have a presentation by Rochester Area Interfaith Climate Action. Bill Bross and company, Paul, I think I heard you were getting tagged in, will be leading that. Bill wrote to me and he says, I don't know if I can speak for 40 minutes. And I said, please don't. Not because I don't adore you, Bill, but because we really want to have a little bit of time for question and answer. And we knew we were going to end up off task on the schedule that's on the agenda already. I think we've made up the difference. I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda as printed if there are no corrections. I see a first and a second. All in favor? Thank you very much. I'm assuming no one's voting against it. In that case, I would like to invite Marjorie to please come up.
Hello, all of you. I am so glad to be in GVA again. I am Marjorie Pernine. I am one of your Associate Conference Ministers. I am here in Ryan's stead. He is taking a van filled with Berliners who have come to New York City up to Scarsdale, UCC, where they'll spend the weekend. The New York Conference has a partnership with the inner city deanery of churches in Berlin. And this is a visit. We haven't had a delegation in a while, and this is a very important visit, and we're really glad to be able to have Scarsdale host them, and Ryan's kind of conveying them. So please keep them all in your prayers for good conversations and growing relationships. I wanted to share with you some of what's been going on. It's been really a full schedule. I mean, we're working hard. I mean, the 200 congregations of the UCC, the New York Conference and the UCC, work together to resource each other, to strengthen each other, to support clergy. And here's some of the ways that you've been doing that and some of the things that are coming up. I am hopeful that some of you were present when we had our National Counsel, Heather Kimmel, talk about leadership and governance. We had over 100 people connected onto that Zoom. Couldn't record it. She wouldn't allow it to be recorded, but I'm hopeful that maybe in 2 years we could get her back to do that again. It seemed like just what we need for our lay leaders to know kind of the ins and outs of governance of the local church. We had over 75 folks register for congregational boundaries. If you've been around a long time, we've been promising congregational boundary training for a really long time, and we finally found folks who do it well. And we had folks from congregations across the conference connect. That we're going to be able to do annually. So if you couldn't get your council or your parish pastor relations team or anybody that you wanted to, because we were able to do it with no expense, keep looking for next fall. We're going to try to do it again. And we've started up quarterly support meetings for our search teams for our churches in transition. David Gregory is part of the leadership team that's leading that. That's, again, a resource we've been wanting to give churches in transition for a really long time, and to have search team members be able to talk to experts in the search process and to one another, because my understanding, I wasn't there, was that there's a lot of wisdom sharing. People further in the process can help people earlier in the process along. So that's something, if your church is in search, it comes out in happenings, it's happening quarterly. We had a great training in Ithaca at the beginning of the month. 9 people from across the conference have been trained in adult OWL, our whole lives, gender and sexuality education. And we have now used some designated money that had been given to the conference to train these folks to then be able to do educational workshops in congregations, maybe cluster events, a few congregations together. So keep looking for that. They are trained. We'll begin to see the rollout pretty soon. And yes? Can you tell me, I think you just said an acronym about that? I did. I said OWL, O-W-L, Our Whole Lives, which is a gender and sexuality education program, a long-standing partnership between the UU and the UCC. It goes back, and there's trainings, if you're not familiar with it, there's trainings from preschool curriculum to adult curriculum. This training was for the adult curriculum. And let me talk a little bit about why. We're in the second module of culturally responsive ministry training, which is gender and sexuality. And our ministers take that. And some of our ministers say, oh, I already knew that. And some of them are learning things, right? But what we're hoping to do is then to be able to do deeper dives, to like bring that education to the congregation so that we can do one thing by requiring our ministers to take it. But if we can offer it in our churches, that education will just ripple out. So that's why it's so great that we've got these 9 trainers from across the conference. Looking ahead, we have the Biloxi mission trip for college-age students that's happening during January break. And then the Mid-Atlantic Youth Gathering in Pennsylvania, which is going to be in July 22nd to 25th this coming year. If you're participating in the conference mission project for prayer shawls, I know some of our congregations have people crocheting and knitting away, and some say, maybe we'll think about it. But if you're doing it, please take pictures. The mission project is for congregations to create prayer shawls and then to share them as they see that they're needed. One suggestion is if you have people joining online, to send a prayer shawl to the folks who you never get to see in person. But I'm sure you have many other ideas. All we ask is that you bless them, take some pictures, and send them to us so that we can hear what's happening around the state. You're probably aware of the advocacy opportunity. The conference ministers are going to Washington, D.C., and Marsha Williams is part of that delegation, the 25th, 26th of this month. And they're urging the legislators to act with compassion, love, and justice. Compassion, not cruelty. That's the shortcut. So there is a letter writing campaign. I see that there's some copies of letters for folks who would like to send a letter to their representative. Those links are in happenings. If you want to make use of the copied form right here, you simply have to put your legislator's name in, your name and address in the blank, and you can give it to me, because she wants to be able to bring letters to all of the legislators in New York. I just have to spend a moment on the New York School of Ministry. We are busily in our fall semester. We've been offering basic boundary awareness training, refresher boundary awareness training, and lots of retiree boundary awareness training, as well as I had mentioned culturally responsive ministry training. I do want to say that if the way culturally responsive ministry training works is the first year is restricted just to ministers, because we've got a lot of folks who need to meet that requirement. But the second year, if you are interested in taking one of those courses, you are more than and you're not a minister, you're more than welcome to do it. And if a scholarship would help you do that, reach out to me, because the Janine Heller Foundation, which is based in Long Island, has been really generous about scholarships. So there should not be an educational offering through the New York School of Ministry that you want to take, but you're like, oh, I can't afford the whole thing. Reach out to me. We have that money to share through their generosity. I'm really excited for the spring. I just want to give you a heads up. We did get a grant from the Heller Foundation to provide financial education for our members in discernment, people preparing for ordination, and our early career ministers. Folks will be reading a book on financially sustainable congregations by Jim Elrod, who teaches at Yale Divinity School, and they will get reimbursed on the book, so they'll only have to pay about $5 for the book, and then there will be a free workshop with him on January 10th. If you are not a mid or an early career minister, but are saying, oh, but I really like to do that, just talk to me. And then we'll be doing a short course, another kind of webinar on doing clergy taxes. Now, for ministers here, some of you may say, oh, I totally know what I'm doing. But Reverend David Cleaver Bartholomew, who's on our faculty, who's actually teaching Old Testament right now, also has a business for clergy taxes. And he said, you know what? I am so aware that there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. Maybe we need a short course. So again, if you're looking at that, that will be after the tax season, probably in June. These are all the ways that you all are resourcing each other. You're all strengthening each other's churches. And there's still some gaps, right? And we're aware that as we're looking at the church now and in the next 5 years, we're seeing some needs. And so we're starting to roll out a new initiative called Together in Love. And we're rolling it out slowly because as you can see, we're busy doing the things that we're doing. But what we've seen as we've analyzed the churches and the needs are that there's needs for more support for clergy mental health. There's needs for some more cohorts. Some clergy are in communities of practice, and that works, but we're looking at short-term gatherings for like 3 months, maybe 3 times, over an issue around mental health. Or another great need is conversation around preaching in purple churches. That seems to be a great stressor right now, and so that will be rolling out in the spring. We're also looking at finding ways to connect congregations beyond association lines in collaborative ministries, so that churches that are interested in doing the same kind of mission can be connected to each other and sharing that wisdom and sharing that support. So collaborative ministries. There will also be increased kind of spiritual grounding. We're all seeing the need for that. So there's already somebody working on a regular kind of prayer time. There will be more devotionals. We're looking at this time, we're looking at the level of anxiety in congregations and ministers and seeking to respond. So I'm just going to share that's what's starting, but you'll hear more about Together in Love because it's important to meet those needs that we see that are going to be growing as we move forward. So I just want to end to say thank you. As somebody who gets to serve on your behalf, it is really fulfilling ministry to be able to help you all help each other. And I'm thankful for that. So good to be with you in person. That is a joy. And if anybody has any questions, I could take them now or certainly afterwards. Okay.
While Nancy comes up, I do want to draw to your attention there are 3 clipboards in the room where we had the fellowship hall, where we had refreshments. Various people have talked about particular areas of professional development that they might be interested in. One that came up was an offshoot of the General Counsel's presentation, wanting to learn more about building use, and particularly renting to maybe for-profit. There was another one that said, maybe we should talk about what software we're using for our donations and membership tracking, and maybe even resource one another. Those sign-up sheets are in there. We're using them as a survey to find out what kind of interest. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Before, I just want to mention one thing before it's the second time it's happened to me. I got an email from Carl, B-A-W-E-L, Ball, and it was saying if he could talk to me or email conversation with me. And as I said, well, I'll be home in, 5 minutes, call me. And he then said, oh, I'll be in 20 minutes. I need some money. Can you transfer money does it allow us to transfer money or something like that? And I wrote back and I says, what do you need money for? And he said he was needed to some things for church, and that there were some gifts he wanted to give to people, but I needed to be quiet because not spread the word because it was going to be a surprise. Well, at that point, I called Carl on the phone, who is preparing to go to Japan. And obviously, he didn't send me the emails. So I sent a note back to the email I had gotten, and I said, liar, liar, pants on fire. But that's the second time I had. So they're picking up emails off of something that's been posted online. So when I clicked the little top thing, it was a very strange email, but I wasn't familiar with his until I got to my home and got my roster out. Just be careful, because that's the second time that's happened to me, somebody looking for money. And obviously he thought I was the treasurer of his church, whoever that was. And So that being said, we
And that was awesome. He was a great presenter, and I learned so much, and all of us could learn from that. It was really well done.
I've seen their presentation. I went to somebody's senior housing thing, and it's amazing in that group that we had that people had sent money to their grandchildren or something that wasn't really. So people do take those things to heart. If I get them from my grandchildren, I'm going to say, talk to your father, he has more money than I. So, Anyway, I have 7 grandsons, but nobody's asked me for money. So our budget is, we're in good shape with our budget. I don't think we're going to carry over as much as we did last year. There's a couple of churches who still haven't sent their contributions in. Does anybody have any questions about the budget? About this year's budget, this current budget? That's the white sheets. So the purple sheets are the budget for 2026. And Deb, I'll give the correction on there. There is a correction on page 4. When you're looking at things, sometimes the lines all blur together. So in the 2026 budget, Palmer Greece UCC is getting $1,000, and Perry Center is not. So if you cross one, so when we vote on it, we need to vote on the one for Palmer Greece, and that, just my eye going across. I added the line, but I didn't add the money. So, any questions about next year's budget? I think you have it down, voting on them after Pam's makes their presentation. Okay. I just want to make sure we get the right correction in. If so, I'm all set. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Before I launch into this report, I'd like to thank the committee, and that committee is composed of Susan Belair, Conrad Emmert, Paul Grenier, Sue Forsyth, and myself. I want to thank them for their work this year and our honest discussions about awarding grants. And even though Reagan isn't here, she's also an integral part of setting up the grant application online. So thank you to all of you. And in my report, it does say that Sue has decided to step away from the committee, so thank you, Sue. And so we're looking forward to having someone else join us for next year. Keep that in mind when we get to elections. So in 2025, we had 12 grants that were approved for a total of $24,500. And as of today, all those monies have been dispersed to the various folks in their projects. The awardees were Called to Care, Canandaigua, Castile UCC Food Pantry, Coffee Connection, First Congregational Church of Canandaigua, Hemlock Community Food Pantry, Lakeville Community Pantry, the Spirituality and Religious Life at RIT, Salem Nutrition Center, South Livonia Free Community Meal Program, Union Church Food Pantry, U of R Protestant Chapel Community, and Warsaw Food Pantry. So prior to this meeting, I invited all of our awardees to either submit a report or come in person and have a display. And in the fellowship hall, there are some displays, one for the Warsaw Food Pantry, Salem Nutrition Center, the Churchville Food Pantry, and Lakeville. They have a handout there. Sam Kinsman is here, so if you'd like to speak with him about his work, both at the U of R and RIT, please feel free to contact these people during our break and find out what they're doing. Some really amazing work that they do. And I'm here representing the Churchville Food Pantry because the woman that heads it up is on her way to Europe right now. I'm sure all of you are aware that Coffee Connection has regrouped, and they are now calling themselves our Blend Coffee and Roastery. And they still have a presence at Marketplace Mall. They are not doing any catering. They don't have the personnel to do catering, but they are still selling coffee and they're roasting coffee. So if you have occasion to be out that way, stop in and get some coffee. I think they're selling coffee, ground coffee or beans online. So if you want to see me or email me, I can give you their contact information. We did receive an email through Nancy Pollock that they were short on funds for this year. So Nancy and I talked, and we did give them an extra $2,000 to get them back on their feet, because it's an important mission, helping women get job skills so they can support their families. So you'll see that reflected in the 2025 budget. There's an extra $2,000 there for what's listed as Coffee Connection. Okay, so that brings us to the grant proposals for 2026. We received 16 grant proposals and we approved 15. There was a considerable amount of money requested, in excess of $40,000, and of course we don't have that kind of money, so our committee discussed, how to break it down so that everyone got some kind of funding. As Nancy mentioned earlier, Parma Greece should be getting, or we'll vote on it, but we were giving them $1,000 towards their application. And in that budget, it shows Perry Center, but Perry Center did not submit a grant proposal for this year, so don't let that concern you. And then Castile Food Pantry is also listed, and it doesn't show any dollar amount, but Castile did submit a grant proposal. It was not something the committee felt was within the scope of PAM's. So don't think we were turning a blind eye to their food pantry request. So this year, with the 15 requests, we submitted a budget of $27,500 for your approval. And in your packet lists all the organizations that applied for grant money. Any questions? Well, thank you very much. Please vote positive for our budget.
Am I loud enough? Then I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2026 budget and PAM's report. Mike Tiss first, Paul seconds. Lauren and Alan third and fourth. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of adopting the budget and the PAM's recommendations? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Your budget passes. Thank you. David, I think you're up.
Great to see all of you here today. I would just like to highlight the work of the Committee on Church and Ministry for the Genesee Valley Association. I am the chair. I have two vice chairs, Susan Belair, who is the vice chair for our ministers, oversight of our ministers and members in discernment, and Mike Baker. Where are you? Mike Baker is, he's up there where you can't see him, but I can. I promise you he's here. He is our vice chair overseeing the support of our local churches. And so we have a great committee. We have, there are 14 people involved, 12 members of the team, and then we are also joined by our associate conference minister, most often, that is Ryan, and of course our registrar, Carol Kohler, who is a faithful, stalwart keeper of the files and the records and the ultimate authority on everything. So we want to thank her for the hard work. She's one of those people working in the background, and there's so much of what she does that we don't even see, but we rely on her heavily for information and to validate the things that we might suspect, but we need to have records of. So we have, as I said, we have a great team. We have a full slate again this year, and we're really, really happy. We were joined this year by Sue Daly, and who's our other new person? Yes, Paul Grenier, and they are just wonderful additions to our team, so thank you for hopping aboard. Since the spring assembly, there have been a few things that were happening. We did take 2 months off during the summer, so there aren't as many things as we might report, but we would like to say and welcome Reverend Dan Russell. Dan, would you stand up, please? All right. We are delighted to have Dan with us. Dan is a minister who comes from the Geneva Presbytery, and Dan is serving as the designated pastor at Bristol, and I know the Bristol congregation is delighted to have him, and we are really happy to have him to join us here in the Genesee Valley Association. There is a conversation going on about dual standing, and we'll be moving forward with that in the coming months and talking with Dan, but in the meantime, we just want you to know who he is, and we want you to give him a really warm welcome. We also would like to recognize Patty Carlson. Might I ask you to stand? Patty Carlson. Okay, here's what you're clapping for. Patty is the co-pastor at Rushville, serving with Ed Kennedy, and Patty has been approved for lay ministerial standing, so that covers her service there with the approval of our association committee on ministry. And we also have received her as our newest member in discernment. So just getting started on that process. Susan and I had a wonderful meeting with her over at West Bloomfield recently, and just sort of to kind of map out her process. And we're going to get her together with Marjorie and have a nice little chat. And so we'll look forward to that discernment process working in concert with you, Patty. And again, we are delighted to have you with us as well. And we want to welcome back Reverend Deborah Roof. Where are you? Yeah. Deborah is, theoretically retired. Deborah is a long-time part of the Genesee Valley Association, had, 12 years in New Hampshire? 12 years in New Hampshire, retired, has come back, and we are so happy to have you back. Currently serving as a bridge at Webster, and like most retired ministers, you're working. So anyway, good. You may recall that we had one, so our other member in discernment is Eric Kelly, who is here from Perry, and we want to say hi to you as well. It's great to have you. We have a number of people with lay ministerial standing, of which our mids are also part. And I did not bring a list of those. Susan, can you help me? So our lay ministerial standing people, we have Jessie Lou Vaccarelli, who is serving at Parma, Greece. We have Eric, currently has lay ministerial standing and is serving at Perry. Sue Smith, yes, South Livonia. I think we're set. So all of our lay ministerial standing people are, we meet in person with them at our December meeting of the committee, and we have a little Christmas party. We hear from them about their work and their vision, and then we vote to approve them for the next calendar year. So that will be happening in early December. We did not have any installations or ordinations since the spring assembly. I would like to make one correction in my report, if you wouldn't mind, if you got a little something to scribble with. But we do have 5 churches in various stages of transition. We have Webster, Mountain Rise. The one I omitted was Churchville, that's being served right now by Alan Daly, who is the interim there. And so we want to make sure that we include them. And of course, West Bloomfield, which is where I am serving currently. And we also will be thinking about this church as as March 1st is the date of retirement for their pastor. So with that in mind, that's about all I have. The report is here. If you have questions, yes. Dual standing is it's a ministerial standing when someone comes to us from a different denomination and they would like to, especially in this case, we're talking about a denomination that is in the formula of agreement, and so a minister would like to maintain their standing in their original denomination, and they would also like to have standing in the United Church of Christ. We have a process for that in the Manual on Ministry, which we follow. And there are times when people come from other denominations and they want to solely be a UCC minister, and that process is called privilege of call. But we don't have anybody in that process right now. Other questions? I will just say that my contact information is on the report. It's got my email, it's got my cell phone. You can contact me anytime. And if you have questions or concerns, I will just reiterate what Marjorie said about the churches in transition. My other role in the New York Conference is a search and call associate. I have a counterpart, Noel Vanek, who is in Manhattan. And he and I are doing these quarterly Zoom calls. So if your church is in transition, if you have a search team, or you're any place at all in that process, you are welcome to join us. And the next one will be in November. The date has not been set just yet, but watch your communications from the conference, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Could I just have the team members who are here from our Committee on Church and Ministry just stand so you can see who they are? All right. All right. Great. Thanks, everybody. These are the people who do, I think, the hardest work of all in the association. That's not to make light of anybody's work in the association, but there are hours and hours and hours that go into the oversight and the support of our local churches and our pastors. And so I'm grateful for those who are willing to do it.
Among the many things that Carol does for us, she took beautiful minutes from our spring meeting. They are in your packet, and we need to adopt them. So as she goes up there, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as printed. One first.
Say again?
Did we Zoom the meeting in the spring?
I don't really know. I know that it's always been made available if it's possible. Okay. And I don't usually know. I don't often know whether it is or not, frankly. So
for reference, this meeting is being live streamed because there are a number of people who were not able to make it. So with the
Thank you. Thank you for approving those. I would hate to have to go back and do it again. Reverend Karen has asked if we would review and look at and become aware, again, of the partnership structure of the Genesee Valley Association. This was a work that was done in 2020 and approved in October of that year. But prior to that year, there was a lot of work, wasn't there, Stephen? A lot of work that went into looking at what the structure is for Genesee Valley Association and how it would work best. So this is it is available if you're interested, but excuse me, what it does is outline what the structure is that we have adopted in the Genesee Valley Association. But it also calls the congregation within the Genesee Valley Association as believers and called to be disciples. We covenant together in the UCC to remember, proclaim, spread, and live the gospel of Jesus Christ. Keeping that in mind, our commitment to relationship takes precedence over form and function. Our relationships are characterized by trust and our desire to know and support each other. Our vision is grounded in our understanding of God's word and our tradition. It's open to the guidance of the Holy Spirit and heeds God's call to justice and nonviolence. Our association's response to issues of justice and need is guided by the interest and commitment of individuals, member churches, and the conscience of the association. As you probably already know, briefly, there is an executive council, which is made up of the chairpersons of the Committee on Ministry, Mission Liaison, excuse me, two members at large, and the co-moderators. Within this partnership agreement is also the job description of those people that are co-moderators. My job description is there. The treasurer, financial secretary, mission liaison, communications coordinator. All of that is, and the at-large members, all of that has been very explicitly detailed in this document, as well as the responsibilities and short-term representations that are on the Committee on Church and Ministry, Program and Missions. And there's also short-term teams that are often identified. It also talks about the fall and spring assemblies, when they are presented, when they're offered, and what they cover. That was a work of labor and love, so that we do have a functioning document that will outline the structure by which we operate. The other thing that is, and that Karen asked me to do, was to go over your favorite things in life, the reports that you send to me, some sooner than others. However, the fall assembly is when the information form is distributed. It's distributed through the trumpet so that you can get it online. And because Karen is so computer literate and so very, very good at it, she made it interactive, which some of you are going to go, yay. Somebody in this room, I won't mention who it was, years ago said to me, could it be made so that we could, fill it out online and just send it to you? And I looked at him and said, I have no clue. But you can do it now. So it is available, and you thank Pastor Karen for that. So that's due at the fall assembly, and I put a generous, I think, return date. This time it's December 20th. before Christmas. I will guarantee you that I will get some in April, but if I get them, that's good. That's one of the documents that's required to maintain good standing. The other one is a continuing education credits, and that's in the spring assembly. I expect that those people that get these in early-ish are those people that keep track of what they have read, webinars they have attended, books they have read, articles they've read. Those things are the things that go into the continuing ed form. The expectation is that it will be 25 hours. Your guess about how much time you spend on each one of those is absolutely okay and expected. So that's due in the spring. Just to let you know, I still have some that are still outstanding. They were due in June, just to give you an idea. I think there are 8 that are still out. The other thing that I keep track of, that is an expectation and a way of clergy accountability to not only yourself, to each other, but to the association and to the conference and to your covenant. That's the attention to boundary awareness training once every 3 years. There is one for retired clergy as well. The understanding is that you will also attend the culturally responsive ministerial training, CRMT. There are 3 cycles, each one for 2 years. You will need to register for one of those within that 2-year period. Those things are what is required to maintain good standing in GVA. Also, just to let you know, for those of you that are not clergy, every 3 years, every clergy member is visited by the Committee on Ministry, by 2 people from the Committee on Ministry for support. I have done them, and many the people in this room that are on the committee have done them. They're such a rich experience to go and visit the ministers and find out how things are going. What's working, what's not working, what's been a success. Do you need any help? Is there anything the committee can do for you? So that has really nothing to do with your standing, but it is something that is helpful in keeping the association, I think, alive and strong. So thank you for your time. Please make sure and pick up a directory. You'll notice that there's a different format. Please check and make sure that what the information is there, the information that's there is correct. Let me know if it isn't. Thank you very much. Well, I have it, and I think probably the co-moderators have it. I don't have it on.
Where can we get the partnership agreement?
Right.
It was intended to go in this packet. Apologies for that. We will add it to the trumpeter that comes out next. And we're also working, we'll attach it to the Weebly website for GVA, so that you can find it there. Thank you. Friends, we're not doing anything here as badly as I suspected, but we might have to talk more. We have built into the agenda a 10-minute break, which will certainly allow you to have. After that, we have invited those of you who may have Earth Care, conservation-focused environmental programs in your church, invited speak-outs from those of you who might want to say 2 minutes. And we need it for 2 minutes. Honeoye is going to include a longer presentation as part of the worship service at the end, and of course we'll be hearing from RAICA.
We were scheduling that as part of the start of the presentations.
Oh,
After the break. not in our worship.
Oh, okay. Email coordination and around planning sometimes, but we will absolutely do that. I am wondering, do we have folks that are intending to do a speak up? Okay. Let's take our short break. We will come back and we will have the beginning of presentations on Earth Care. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Be back in, can we make it 10 up?
Yep, all right, we're all set with that slideshow, and yeah, and then I'll put that over there. And then we're rolling straight from the end of that into the, RAICA. How much you would do here? Okay, looks good. So stand there.
And my buddy Andrew is over here. We're members of the Botanical Society. And we're members of the Vintage, which is ridiculous. And then we gotta get Paul up here. Well, that's okay. Well, see how much time you got. Yes. instead of doing stuff on my phone, looking at the notes, but we're saying keep doing it, you know, I have to like this.
I have been told, I'm louder without it. I have been told that the live stream can't hear me even with my big voice. So for speak outs and others, we have this microphone, and I'm going to ask those that are planning speak outs to please be ready. People are reassembling with the grace and speed we always do. May I invite you to please take your seats? We will begin the next part of today's presentation. Dennis, shall we start with the speakers? As Andrea heads up, I will tell you, Mike, who has been doing our live streaming, reports that nothing, no matter how big a voice I have, gets picked up without a microphone. So if you choose to speak from the floor rather than the pulpit, please use this. And thank you.
Stephen, did you want to do your speak out first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, mine's going to be very informal.
Okay, go ahead.
Stephen Price from Community Christian Church. I use he, him pronouns. And what I wanted to talk about is our Fix-It Clinic. Some of you may have heard of repair cafes, but we run a Fix-It Clinic. And that is, people are invited to bring in broken or items that are in need of repair. And we have 5 retired men, a part-time retired woman, 2 women actually, that are our fixers. And once a month, people bring in their broken stuff into our fellowship hall, and our fixers get at it. Most of them are retired engineers, so you know they have that a different mind, which is fabulous. And so we just operate it for 2 hours, actually, and it's not enough time. So most of our fixers take stuff home to fix. But the purpose is not only to fix people's broken stuff, but it's to keep it out of the landfill. And this didn't come from me as the pastor. It didn't come from a member of our congregation. It came from somebody who's volunteering with us in our food program. And this engineer brought the idea and said, hey, could we bring this to your congregation? And we said yes, and it has been terrific. It's not only terrific in terms of taking care of the earth, but we also serve coffee and tea, and we have donuts or whatever, and it's a very social time. So we have some retirees that come every month. I think it's the same clock they keep bringing back, and it's because they just want somebody to be with. And so it's an opportunity to open up our congregation, open up our space, and be with folks. So it's an amazing program. If you have any questions about it, talk to me, and I'll get you in touch with the right person. Am I pointing? You're pointing at someone? Yeah, Corinne. So people bring clocks, they bring watches, they bring computers, they bring bicycles. Somebody just started fixing jewelry. Someone else is fixing stringed instruments. So, yeah. Clothing? We don't take clothing. We don't have anybody that's willing to do that yet. Yeah. Somebody that knows how to run a sewing machine. Deborah? What did you say the frequency was? We do it once a month. Just a couple hours. Yeah. Which isn't enough time, but it's once a month, and it's a try, yeah. And we've been doing it for about a year.
Stephen,
kind of.
also, they fixed a lamp for me.
Yes.
And they fixed my son's food processor.
So they fixed a lamp and a food processor, so that means nobody's getting online and pointing and clicking at Amazon, which we don't love either. The next one, it's always the second Thursday of the month, except for December, it's a third Thursday. During the 10 o'clock in the morning till noon, yeah. Yes?
Sorry, what is your church again?
That's okay. Community Christian Church.
Where is that?
Chilai. Yeah. Anything else? All right, lots to learn. It's fun. So if you want to give it a try, let us know. We'll give you some guidance. Yay!
Thank you, Steve. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Hi, my name is Andrea McIntosh. No relation to the pastor. I just happen to go to the same church. I was asked to do a presentation on our green committee, which we call Earth Care. Initially, I was supposed to do a presentation. I see in the agenda it said 2 minutes. I don't know if I can do that. Okay. So I hope I have your grace to go a little further here today. How I'm going to do this here. Actually, can I do this? This one's nice. Okay. There we go. Where's Mr. Bross? Bill. 40 minutes. I have so much faith in you that you can speak for 40 minutes. We once carried on a conversation, did a meeting while I was mucking out my goat barn. We had a whole meeting one time over Zoom, so he could do it if he wanted to. So anyway, I will make this quick. Again, my name is Andrea. I coordinate the Earth Care team here, and go ahead, Ken. I'm just going to give you a brief history about how it became to be. This was a good exercise for me, kind of putting this together mentally. It gave me kind of a little bit of joy and a little bit of hope, and invigorated me a little bit in these current times where things seem so anxious and kind of sad and going in the wrong direction. It made me hopeful that, yeah, we're doing a lot of really good work, all of us are, and thinking about the ripple effect of where things started and where we've gone. It's really kind of interesting. So our program started from the GVA. We were asked to read Jim Antel's book. I'm sure you've all heard of it, Climate Church, Climate World. So we started a book study, and from there we from the book study, we started a group where we just called ourselves Climate Church. And we had a few initiatives that we did, starting with RAICA, which is interesting, they're here as well today. We did a community solar program with them, so we signed up the Mance and the church onto community solar. And it was like March 18th, Bill Bross was downstairs in our dining room, and they came in and said, the church is closed, it's COVID time. So pretty much every one of our initiatives that we had just started, which was Ride Share, Tool Share, a Repair Cafe, all the things we had in mind kind of just went away. But we did the community solar, and we had some people in town sign up. So that was kind of the beginning. We revamped from there. There was a group that started up near Rochester called Color Your Community Green. We affiliated with them, but we really kind of liked the work we were doing, so we didn't change into a Color Your Community Green group. But we formally changed our name after a lot of deliberation. We were Climate Smart, no, excuse me, we were Earth Care. Oh, I'm messing up the words. We were Climate Church, and then we became Earth Care in 2021. Go ahead, Ken. Okay. So our goal in the community is to educate, empower, and act. Okay. All right, our core values, we sat and then talked about what we wanted to do for the community. So our values are the rights of nature, environmental justice, interconnectedness of all people and all earthly elements, community, and integrity. So after COVID passed, so it started at the church, and then we realized for a lot of the initiatives we wanted to do, it required municipal involvement, town involvement. So we kind of branched out, and so we have members of Earth Care from all different sectors of the community. So we have different houses of worship, we have Rotary, different members. So that is the greater community group. As far as the Earth Care group, UCC, we do 4 yearly initiatives. We do a roadside cleanup, that's with our area HVA, and we host a pancake breakfast here. It's really well received. Everybody in the community comes, they have breakfast, they go out, clean up. Last year it was like a ton of garbage. We do a denim recycling program every spring. We also do a compost awareness week in May, and we started an initiative, Bring Your Own Cutlery and Container Initiative, and we have stickers with our logo on it, so we encourage people to always have not plastic things to use all the time. And our church does a really, really good job of not using disposable things in our kitchen, so we're really proud of them for that. So it was in January of 2004, we were very proud to make Earth Care UCC an actual committee in our church, so they have representation on council. So it's a very important part of our ministry here at the UCC. I just want to expand a little bit more then. So we did recognize again that we needed to reach out into the community to make some lasting effects. Go ahead. So we developed a community garden. Bill Van Duzen's way in the back. He is one of the caretakers of the garden. So we had to go to the town, plead our case. Why do we need this? We started with a demo garden, and then we expanded to 10 to 20, and now we're at 26 beds. So the idea is people that want to garden and don't have a space to do that, they rent a plot for $25. That's for the space, the fencing, the water, for the whole year. So they grow food for their families. There's also plots in there for the Honeoye food pantry, which is housed here in our church. So we have 3 plots that grow vegetables for the community, and we just put a new stand out facing the road so people can donate, give or take whatever you need, and then things from the community garden come up to give people in the community produce. There's a picture of our garden. It's right uptown. So this is actually an earlier picture. There's more beds. We have a beautiful shed, and we're we're expanding in the spring. So 10 more beds are going to go further out in the spring. Next picture, Ken. This is just a fun picture. For the last 3 years, we've been doing, the school does a day of caring. So we have 10 kids come to the garden, and they help put beds to sleep for the winter. So this was just a fun picture of the kids And they do a little bit of learning, a little bit of composting, taste some vegetables, have some fun, and help us do some work. This is just more about the community garden. So when we reached out into the community, one of our first initiatives was to go to the town and ask to put in a EV charging station. Long story short, the money was approved. It took a long, long time for them to put it in. It just got put in like last month. So down at our town hall, there is an EV charging station up and running. So if you brought your electric car today, you can go ahead and go down there and get it charged up. Go ahead, Ken. We also are working on the Beyond Plastics initiative. Back in '24, our group unanimously signed on to a memo of support for the above bill. I don't know if you're familiar with this bill. It's really important. It's been through legislation twice, and it's never come to a vote in the final time. So if you have any of your churches that would be interested in working on this, it's a really good piece of legislation to reduce plastic production in the state of New York. And then one of our biggest accomplishments, we formed a climate smart community task force. So that's an official part of the town board, and all the members are from this church, which is kind of cool. And in the past few years, we've done a couple of pretty cool things. So starting the task force was the first step. And then the second thing we did, we got certified as a clean energy community, which was a really big step for us. So you'll see signs at the end of town. And then just, 2 weeks ago, we got certified as a climate smart community. So that's a bronze certificate. So we started there. So those signs will be going up. But again, this this ripple effect came from, I tell you, like Pachamama Alliance. I have to give a shout out to them because that's where I started the training. Who directed me to RAICA, who directed, the community solar, who, it just keeps trickling on and on and on and on and on. And sometimes I get discouraged, like none of this is helping, none of this is working until I sit down and I put it on paper and see all the successes we've had and look out into this audience and see the community of people who care. So, I think that's good enough for now. Wait, we got to go a couple more. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead. So I just wanted to say too. Sorry. That's okay. That's all right. So I just wanted to say too. We're going to keep moving forward, and the idea is to have sectors of Earth Care in the community. So we want the Catholic Church to have Earth Care, St. Mary's. We want the Rotary to have Earth Care. So all under the umbrella of what started from a book by Jim Antel 5 years ago. So it's pretty powerful. So that was really, really fast. I'm trying to go really fast. But the very last slide you have to see. That's my goat, Jemima.
Oops.
So, yeah. So, that was way faster than I had planned, but I don't, so go ahead and shout it out. Yeah.
Hi, so this certification, is it something you have to renew every year or so, or how does that work when you've got the climate smart and clean energy community? How does that work?
No, you don't recertify every year. There's certain tasks that you have to complete. Like for the clean energy, we did a energy audit. And then from there, when you got the certification, then you just build from that. So we'll keep doing initiatives. So the next step for Climate Smart would be the silver award and then the gold award. And the way it works is, so when you have the certification, that automatically gives you a couple points. So if there's an RFP for some kind of environmental benefit for a grant, that gives you a couple points ahead already. And then if you get that, the idea is to get that grant to put toward, the next grant, to keep stepping and building up from there. So it's a lot of information to keep track of. Yeah.
The name and office
Jim Antel. Yep, it's Climate Church, Climate World. Yes, Bill?
One of our next initiatives is EV.
At the town hall? The car? Yeah. So Bill was mentioning one of our next initiatives is to have our code car in town be an electric car. So that's something that we're working on. We'd like to have all sorts of things like solar on the town hall and different things. But it's very slow process, like I said, but it gives me hope.
Can you clarify for folks that community solar is not the same thing as having solar panels on your building?
Correct.
It's contributing. Can you explain that?
Sure. So community solar is when you have, you sign up through a group. So you sign, yeah, I was going to say Ampion is an example. You sign up your household or your church through a particular group, and then your energy is guaranteed to be solar, or you can designate different things, just so your energy won't be taken off of fossil fuel. So you're in the grid, but you're drawing from the larger panels around the arrays. It's not putting them on your house or on your property. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's two different things. Like a church could have its own solar array, or a house could, or you could just join a community solar group. Does that clarify it? Okay. Anybody else? If you ever get a chance to come see our community garden, it's really beautiful. Bill, anything else?
Oh, excellent job.
Mike Baker, up there, anything else? Okay, thank you.
As your executive committee was planning today's program, we wanted to take into account the fact that you all come a good long way from wherever you are in the Genesee Valley Association in order to be together as the association. And one of our early conversations was with Mike and Kenneth saying, what gets your church excited? What is it that you might like to tell us about Honeoye? Because many of us wouldn't otherwise know that. And that sort of snowballed. Andrea, you just did a beautiful job with that presentation. Thank you. And we wanted to make sure that when you come out for a Genesee Valley Association gathering, you're not just going to hear reports and adopt budgets and let Carol tell us which forms we're supposed to fill out, although you do that so very well. And that evolved into a recognition that many of our congregations have people who care deeply about the environment. And many are also involved in the Rochester area Interfaith Climate Action Organization. And so we invited Bill Bross to come and join us, and Paul Grenier to talk a little bit about that. Would you?
For about 20 minutes.
If you do it in 20 minutes, then we have worship on time, and everybody I know is going someplace after this.
Oh, this will be 20 minutes. No more. I love Honeoye. Just a quick story to make a big point. Crozier Seminary in 1970 decided to close the doors and merge with Colgate Rochester Bexley Hall. And so Marie and I packed our bags and we left the Philadelphia area and we moved up here. It was 1970. We moved in the summer. We settled in a nice apartment complex, and then winter hit. Okay. 12 feet of snow. And back then, it never went above 32 degrees the entire winter, except for the January thaw, which was 2 days. We had never, ever experienced anything like this. But we decided to go to Honeoye for the winter carnival. So we drove down to Honeoye for our first time, and we've been here many times. And the winter carnival was an experience we'll never forgot. The lake was frozen over, solid, and single-engine airplanes were landing on the lake. And they were, for some reason, they were serving possum. And I guess you can eat possum. It's not uncommon, and they had possum steaks. And so, yeah, winter was back then, it was an ordeal. And the reason I bring it up is we are not going to see that anymore. No, no, no. We're not going to have winter like we had in 1970 because the planet is getting warmer every year. And we're lucky. I don't know what's going to happen this year. Maybe it'll snow before Christmas. I don't know. But those days back in 1970 are gone. And so it's a serious issue. I guess about 2018, a bunch of us went to an event at the Harley School, where the Rochester People's Climate Coalition was holding one of their meetings. And somebody got this idea and said, are there people of faith here at this event? How would you all like to talk to each other? We've got a room in the back, and you can go and talk in the back. So we found ourselves in this room, all looking at each other, all different faiths, and we started a conversation, and we liked it. We really liked communicating. Roman Catholics, Protestants, Methodists, Jews, everybody was there, and we said, we want to keep this going. Let's keep this going. So out of that grew the establishment of the Rochester Area Interfaith Climate Action. And out of that, and I want to pass, if we can get these passed around, we decided, well, we have to have an event. Oh, by the way, I wanted to read this real quick. These were the minutes of one of our groups. I knew this was going to happen. Maybe it's here. Okay. This is before we formed, and we were planning what should this RAICA organization be about. And by the way, Dave Inglis from the Henrietta Church, right from the beginning, was very involved in the formation of RAICA. Do you all remember Dave? So there were 4 things we said we need to do. So I thought this was great. Creating an annual interfaith event that will inspire, equip, and empower faith communities to be active agents of sustainability. Helping faith communities create or strengthen active sustainability creation care groups. And Andrea, it's amazing what this church has done. It's just amazing. And then establishing communication structures to connect and resource faith communities and people of faith around sustainability, enlisting allies and collaborators in the community. So out of that grew our very first ever summit, which was held in the Grace Baptist Church. I gave away all of them. Can I have one back? I gave away, we just give it away. I mean, thanks. It might be good to have one. I just need one. I haven't memorized it. So we held our first Interfaith Climate Summit at the Greece Baptist Church in 2019. And it was a big success. We loved it. So we decided to hold our second event at Paul's Church, the Irondequoit United Church of Christ. And we were planning away, and it was going to happen, and then that nasty thing, COVID, hit. And that stopped that. And for a couple years, everything stopped. But last year, we had our second climate summit. And now, and next month, we're going to hold our third climate summit of all the faiths coming together. Now, what's really good about this is that we all have the work that we're doing, and you would be amazed at how much each faith is trying to do. But do you really know what they're trying to do? We don't always talk to each other. And better yet, we need to lock arms and work with each other. And we decided we have more strength if we have Roman Catholics and Protestants and Jews and Muslims all locking arms and walking together towards this goal. It's harder to ignore all the faiths when they come together and speak out. And so that's our goal. Our goal is to get all the faiths coming together to individually in their own places of worship start groups like they did here at Honeoye. We have one at Mountain Rise. The stuff that you're doing in your churches, this fix-it thing is great. This is what we want. We want the faith community to be more involved in the community that they live in, and that we're hearing from a lot of experts is what's going to promote membership in our congregations, is to get out and do stuff in the community. So it serves both purposes. We're dealing with the problem that the earth is getting warmer. We have a moral issue we have to deal with our children, because our children will stand up and say, you know, what are you doing about my future? A really bad day at the office, if you're an elected representative, is for the secretary to come and say there are 20 young people out here in the office that want to talk to you about what are you going to do about my future. Because if we don't do anything, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse every year. In fact, if we did nothing, scientists say in 20 years we'll have the climate of North Carolina. We don't want that, because one can only imagine what the climate in North Carolina will be like. So we have our work cut out for us. And at RAICA, we want every faith community to get involved. So we're holding this event, the summit. We have our keynote speaker is going to be the Right Reverend Kara Wagner Shear, Episcopal Bishop of Rochester. And then we have wonderful breakout sessions. If you read the list, we're covering a lot of areas that need to be discussed and talked about. So we have a drum group coming, and it's going to add some excitement to the event. It's going to be in November this year for the first time, because we don't want to compete with a really nice summer day on a Sunday afternoon. It's very tempting to just say, oh, it's too nice. We're not going to go. So in November, we're figuring, yeah, what else are you going to do in November? Might as well go over to the Faith Climate Summit, the RAICA Climate Summit. So I pass this out, and what we're asking you to do is please put it in your church bulletin. It's free. It's right in Brighton. So it's near Rochester, and it's also near the suburbs. And that's our goal, to keep the work going. We have started about a year ago the Clergy Climate Council, and some of you have been to those meetings. They only take 1 hour every 2 months, but I know many of you have come. It's a Zoom meeting, because we also are trying to talk to our clergy. Pardon me. So it's, we have events that we'll do, and you'll speak at your church. But the big thing every year is our summit. So, pardon me, that's our goal. Are there any questions about RAICA or the summit or where you're also thinking about what are we going to do at our church when we get back? Are we going to start a green group? We have one at Mountain Rise. We are doing about the same kind of things that you're doing here. One of the first things we did was make sure that we got rid of all the pesticides that were being used on the grass. We have planted gardens. We can't do a lot of gardening because we're in the woods, but as much as we can, we have. Now, we've created something called the Green 15 list. So I'm going to pass this around. We're really proud of our list, and it's getting a lot of publicity. It's getting used by other faiths. It's getting carried on websites. It's a whole bunch of things that you can do. Because people say, well, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Well, here's a list of about 46 things you can do. And we're really proud of our list. So it's amazing what you can do if you just sit down and organize and get together. You can do a lot of stuff. And this is what it's going to take. This is a ground up work. People have got to start getting involved in how they live their own life, how their churches respond, and what they can do to help their communities. So have I used up enough time yet? Because I know we've got to fit in a worship service. How are we doing with time? Pardon me? Oh, Paul, yes. Paul has been one of our most active members, and Paul and I plan to have a giant earth here on the front of the stage. It was 8 foot in diameter, but that didn't work out this morning. But Paul, if you would like to say a few words about your experience so far with RAICA, that would be great. I've got the mic here, Paul. Here you go, buddy.
All right. Just want to encourage everybody to spread this not just to your churches, but to your local town ministeriums, other community, put it in your libraries. The more people we can get coming to this, the more interest. It was really, and one thing that Bill said about getting people into your church, because we all want people into our church. It was really interesting. About a month ago, I had a prayer group for all of the political stuff that's going on. And we were just discussing our feelings of fear and anxiety and doubt. And we had a young trans couple that came. And one of the comments they made was they said, oh, we're really glad you're doing this because we always feel that it's just the young people doing stuff. Where are all the old people? And I thought to myself, gee, in my circles, it's all the old people. Where are all the young people? So there's got to be a way, and the RAICA Summit is the place to put some of that together. We've heard a couple places here, a lot of communities here, whether you're aware of it, have these color Irondequoit green, color Bristol green, color whatever green. They're great groups that you can link up with to advertise and to help your own church. And so I would encourage all of that. And just keep plugging away with what you're doing. And that's it. Thank you, Bill. Are you sure?
Paul is really the man. He is so cool. So if there aren't any other questions, are there any other questions?
Just one.
One. Yes.
Able to come to the summit, because I know I'm going to be on retreat that weekend. Is there any way to get some of these speakers for the breakout sessions to come to our churches? Because I really, the upcycling and promoting the sharing economy and
I will check into that, because some of these speakers are local, and they may be very willing to do that, and that's a great question for our committee. I will take it back. And I'll get a card or your name and phone number, and I'll get back to you on that. That's a great question. Thank you. Anything else? Everybody going to put it in their church bulletin? Good. Now I got to close. This is too good to pass up. I was going through the old file back from 2018, and for some reason, I come across a rap song, not signed by anyone, and I'm not going to sing it, but I couldn't believe the words. So I want to close with reading you what somebody wrote back in 2018 and just called it a rap song for the Faith Climate Summit. I wish I knew who wrote this. You ready for this? God's creation, it's a hurtin'. Troubles ahead, that's for certain. Our youth are speaking out. We're going to shout, shout, shout. Adults, you got to listen up. We're going to have to clean things up. You have to hear the truth that is spoken by us youth. Here's the chorus. So we're coming all together to make things better. We're going to lock our arms and see that no one's harmed. We're going to pray. We're going to sing. We're going to do the holy thing. We're going to save God's creation for future generations. Second verse. Got to compost our scraps. Got to insulate our gaps. Got to use renewables. Keep our earth reusable. Make our buildings use less fuel. Because our planet, it's a jewel. God gave us it to cherish, a place where all could flourish. And then the last chorus, so thanks for coming by. It's time to say goodbye. Go from here and do your best to keep fossil fuels at rest in the earth where they belong. So when others come along, they can sing and pray together and work to make life better. Whoever did that, brilliant writing. I mean, it's really good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
As we transition to the closing worship service, one of the things that has come up a number of times in the various presentations is how much is happening in your local churches. And one of the ways that we can best resource one another is when you're hosting an event or having a speaker, we've got to find ways to be more effective in telling one another, because there's really exciting things going on in Genesee Valley Association. And we have ways to do that. We just need to practice.
If you turn your attention to these two-sided bulletin for worship, they were in the chairs when you came in. Hopefully you have one of those. And if you join me in the call to worship at the top of that, come, all who seek the presence of the Holy One, the source of all life, the ground of all being. Together, we come to root ourselves in divine love, to grow in grace and compassion. Like trees planted by streams of living water, we open ourselves to the flow of Spirit. Let us worship the one who makes all things grow, in every season, in every soul. Please join together in hymn number 422 in the New Century Hymnal, Come, O Thankful People, Come. I invite you to stand in body or spirit. Reading from the prophet Jeremiah. Blessed are those who trust in the Eternal One, whose confidence is in the holy presence. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream, and it does not fear when the heat comes, and its leaves are always green, and it has no worries in a year of drought, and never fails to bear fruit. And from the Gospel of Mark, Jesus said, the realm of God is as if someone would scatter seed on the ground and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. They do not know how. And the earth produces of itself, first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. But when the grain is ripe, at once they go in with the sickle because the harvest has come. It's been great hearing about these various really creative and relevant and environmental initiatives in our churches and communities. And I love these stories about new paths for ministry because they are examples of creative innovation in a time when mainline faith communities are, to a large degree, struggling. For those of us in established Protestant denominations, our cultural zeitgeist feels like Jeremiah's time. It feels like when the heat comes. It feels like the year of drought. You know how many religious institutions in America are declining. In our traditional UCC churches, we tend to see fewer people in attendance. Giving is down. Our faithful members are aging or passing on. Social justice movements in the larger society that were legitimately the pride of our historic efforts are being scaled back, cut, abandoned. The deep political divisions between Americans in general runs through our congregations as well. So seeing the challenges to our beloved congregations, we instinctively tend to do what any living thing does when it feels threatened. We turn our thoughts, we turn our efforts to preservation. How do we nurture the lives already planted in our churches? How do we keep already established ministries alive? Bluntly, how do we keep on doing what we have been doing with fewer resources? That tends to be our instinctive reaction in our churches. Now, forgive me if I speak presumptuously. I am preaching to myself as much as to anyone, but I believe there's a real danger if our energies and thoughts get stuck in preservation mode. That works well for museums. Their job is to preserve things. I didn't believe that our churches, as beautiful and historic as they are museums. Recently, I had an email exchange with a woman in her 40s. And like many people right now, she's on a spiritual quest. She needs meaning. She needs nurture. She needs a place to connect. She wants to find greater meaning, inner peace, a better way to live. And her quest has taken the form of contacting faith leaders and requesting a personal meeting with each one rather than just show up in a church or a temple. She doesn't want to show up until she knows, the people or the person behind this. And she told me, when I met with Christian pastors, I felt like they were trying to fit me into their agenda. It felt like they were trying to recruit me for their program. But when I met with yogis and gurus and people of other faiths, they focused their attention on me. They asked questions like, what do you need to find? What's working in life for you? What's not working? They put all their focus on my spiritual needs. I didn't sense any pressure or agenda from them. By the way, she says she loves Jesus, but she's part of a Buddhist Sangha now because she felt it's what she was looking for. I told her these encounters she had may reflect churches that are declining. Leaders who worry about the preservation of their institution are likely to see an interested young person as a fresh recruit for their program, their budget, their existing agenda. About a year ago, I met a resource minister in one of our full communion denominations. And I asked her, well, what is it that you do? And she said, I try to convince declining churches to stop focusing on survival and spend their remaining resources on new forms of outreach. I think she's onto something. Jesus said, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a seed. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Yeah, it's natural to focus on preservation when threatened, but the whole Christian story is about embracing death. And after that comes the miracle of the resurrection. The prophet Jeremiah and then Jesus in this morning's scripture reading promise new growth if we plant new seeds. Ironically, if we focus on self-preservation, our fears become self-fulfilling prophecy. But if faith communities use their dwindling resources in courageous, outward-focused ways, the miracle of new life may occur. We need to find new ways to reach people with life-changing truths. We need to find new ways to create a just world for all, whether in or out of season, even in a time of drought. When gospel seeds are planted, we do not know how. The earth produces of itself, and then a harvest comes. As we partake now of the Lord's Supper, I invite all of us to ponder while we're sitting and waiting for the elements. What fresh and exciting seeds can we and our churches be planting now? If the servers would come forward. God's love in Jesus Christ extends to all people, especially those who feel furthest away or least worthy, because God delights in gathering all of God's children into one great song of joy. So whoever you are, wherever you are in the journey, these gifts are for you. May the Spirit, the energy of compassion, and the giver of wholeness fall upon these elements, so they will convey to our hearts the great sacrifice of redemption. Lord Jesus Christ, on the night when he was betrayed, took the bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Please hold on to your piece of bread till all are served, and we'll partake of it together. bread of life. Take, eat. In the same way, he also took the cup after the supper, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink of it, all of you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, shed for you for the forgiveness of sins. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me." The cup of love, take, drink. We thank you, O God, that as real and tangible as this taste on our lips, the spiritual reality of this shared divine meal may transform our lives into the life of Christ. Let us be the mind, the mouth, the feet, the hands of our crucified and risen Savior. Amen. And I invite you to stand one more time for if as you are able, for the closing hymn and for the benediction. That's "Blessed Be the Tie That Binds," number 393 in the New Century Hymnal. Heart. each other's burdens bear, and often for each other flows a sympathizing tear. We are called to car. It gives us inward pain, but we shall still be joined in our deep peace of the running wave to you, deep peace of the flowing air to you, deep peace of the quiet earth to you, deep peace of the shining stars to you, deep peace of the infinite peace to you, this day and always. Amen. Bless you as you drive, and bless you if you are standing up for justice.